Welcome to Live DAF, your online DAF Yomi Shir.
Hello and welcome back to today's DAF Hayomi KIDDUSHIN DAF Ayin. We are holding right on the top line, Geirei v'Charurei. In the Mishnah we learned that Ezra HaSofer brought together with him multitudes of Bnei Yisrael, amongst which were found groups of Kohanim, Levi, Yisraelim, Geirim, and Avodim who were released, Mamzerim, etc., etc. Yesterday we found the source. Then in fact we have Kohanim, Leviim, Yisraelim, and Chalolim amongst his entourage, and today we're going to learn further where we find the Geirim, the Charurim, the Mamzerim amongst his people. Says the Gemara, Geirei v'Charurim minolan. How do we know that these came along? Amar Rav Chizda Damakra, the pasuk says, "V'cholav nivdal mitum as goyei haaretz aleim." So we have those who separated from the tumah of the goyei haaretz, from avodah zarah, which means the Geirim, the Avodim Mishuchrarim, who are technically Geirim as well. They joined the crowd. What about Mamzerei? Minolan, how do we know that they were Mamzerim amongst his people there? D'chsev vayishma sanvalat ha'chayroini v'toiviyah ha'eved ha'amoni. So we have Toiviyah, who was an Eved from Ammon, heard about the request submitted by Nehemiah to Daryavesh to allow him to rebuild Yerushalayim. Uksiv, and then it says, Ki Rabim Yehuda Ba'alei Shvua Loi. So there were many in the Yehuda area of Eretz Yisrael who were Ba'alei Shvua. They had an alliance with him, with Toiviyah the Eved. Why? Because he had great influence. Ki Chasanhu L'Shchan, he was a son-in-law. He married the daughter of L'Shchanya ben Arach, a Jewish man who was a very prominent member of the community. So this Toiviyah fellow, the Eved, married into a Jewish family. Furthermore, V'Yehochanan B'nai, son of Toiviyah, Lo Kachas Bas Meshulam ben Berechya, he took the daughter of Meshulam, who was also a famous person. And knowing that Avodim married into Jewish families, we have Mamzer as a result, because we're going with the opinion that Eved Kecham, or an Eved, Kecham ve'Eved haba bas Yisrael, married a bas Yisrael avlad, Mamzer, child is a Mamzer. There you go. You have Mamzerim amongst Ezra's crowd. Well, Hanichal Mandam avlad Mamzer. That's all good if you say the child of this matchup is a Mamzer. Elol Mandam avlad Kosher, Ma'ikal Meimar. But there's another opinion. Child born from this union is not a Mamzer, which is something unique to Israel. I'm getting mixed up, but the input of an Eved or a Goy does not generate Mamzer. If so, who says there were Mamzer amongst the crowd? If this is your only reason to believe that there were Mamzerim, who says? Because the child perhaps is not a Mamzer, is a kosher. There's still another question. Who says they even had children? Who said maybe they didn't have any children? Right? Third question. Who says they were originally from Bavel and then went up to Eretz Yisrael? Maybe they were always in Eretz Yisrael. So who says they followed Ezra? I'll bring you a different raya that Mamzerim came along. Ve'ela ha'ilim, pasuk Nehemiah. Ve'ela ha'ilim, the following people. The people came up from the following locations, and simply speaking, the pasuk is simply giving a list of various towns and cities. Tel Melach, Tel Charsha, Kruv, Adoin, V'imar. So the people could not tell if their lineage is Jewish, if they come from Israel. And the Gemara makes a drasha. It's not just locations, but they have deeper meaning and significance. Tel Melach means Elu b'nei Adam shedaimim ma'aseim l'masei stam shenevchel Tel Melach, relating to people whose behavior resembled the Maasim of Staim who were involved in Gilui Arayis, Staim which turned into a heap of salt. What about Tail Cheresh Charsha? What is that? Cheresh is lashon of mute. Quiet down. So in the first group of people we have the Megali Arayis who generated Mamzerim. Okay, so there you go. We have Mamzerim amongst his crowd. Tail Charsha is referring to a suffix mamzer. A fellow who calls out to his father, father, and the mother quiets, shh, he's not really a father. That's a shtuki, who's mentioned in our mission as well. And then we have lo yachlu. So that's tel charsha. Then we have lo yachlu lahagid beis avoisam. Vizarim im Yisraelhem, right? So we have different categories of people. We have the melech people; those are the mamzerim. We have the tel charsha. It's a remes to quieting down. That's a fellow whose mother is quieting down when he calls out to the father. So we're not sure who the father is. Then we have lo yochel lahagid beis avoisam vizarim im Yisraelhem. No idea who his father or mother is. Beis avoisam is the father, and zarim im Yisrael, that would be the mother. Im Yisraelhem, whether they're Jewish, Zeu Asufi, he's the Asufi. Mentioned in the Mishnah, Shnesaf min Ashuk, found on the street. No idea whose father, whose mother. And then we have Kruv Adoin V'imer. So we've solved our issue. We tried to find a Makar, we found it. We found Mamzerim, we found Shtukim and Asufim amongst the crowd. Okay, focusing on the words of this pasuk again, we have drashas going further. It says Kruv Adoin V'imer. So the drasha is like this: Amar Bavo, Amar Adoin. Adoin is our master Hashem. Hashem calls out, Ani Amarti. I figured, Yiyu Yisrael Lefonei Chashuvim Kekruv. Klal Yisrael will be important and highly regarded before me like a Kruv. Kruv is one of the Pnei HaKruv, the Malachim and Shemayim. When Klal Yisrael behaves appropriately, they're chashiv like a kruv. V'heim samo atzmam k'namer. But through their inappropriate behavior, they present themselves like a namer, like a leopard who's not careful with his mate. So it's actually a negative reference to Klal Yisrael's behavior. So kruv adoin v'imer is like the adoin wanted kruv, it turned out to be imer, like a namer. Iked amri. There's another version of this drasha on a positive note. Despite their behavior, Hashem still regards us as special. Amar Rabbi Yavo, Amar Adoin. We have the word Adoin again, the master. He said like this: Avav shesamam atzmam kinamer. Despite this namer behavior, hein chashuvim lefanei kekruv. In my eyes, they're chashuv like a kruv. Amar Rabba Barbachano kalanoise isha. She'ena, again a slave person goes and marries a woman who's not meant for him. She's puzzled for him. Ma ale olav akasav kilo charshoy l'chalo ilum kloi v'zarim melach. The pasuk regards this fellow as though he plowed through the world and planted it with salt. So he brought destruction on himself, on his family. Nothing properly is going to grow from him. Shnamar be'ilo ilum mitel melach tel charsha. So we have the pasuk describing the illegitimate people there, chersha and melach, generated from this behavior. Amar Rabba Bar Ada. Amarav kala noisei isha l'shamamim. Person allows monetary temptation to tempt him and to bring him to marry somebody who is a puzzle to him. Havyan loy bonim she'enan muganim. It will negatively affect his children. Shenemar b'Hashem bagado, they rebelled in Hashem. Ki bonim zarim yaladu. So because they got involved in inappropriate behavior, they had bonim zarim, children who are not appropriate. V'shem atomer mum polit. Okay, at least perhaps he can think he'll get the money out of it. Talmud no, he'll lose the money as well. Wealth will be gone. Ato yoichlem chodesh es chalkeyam. The money will be totally, depleted in a very short time. V'shem atomer chalkei. Maybe it only applies to his portion of the wealth. The nechasim that he's responsible for, the nichse tein barzel, right? So perhaps that gets lost, but not her portion. The nichse melug, which she sort of controls. Tamaloymar, chalkehem, both their portions will be depleted from this because of this inappropriate marriage. V'shema toymar l'zman ruba. Perhaps he'll speculate. He'll say, "Well, it'll take a while for it to happen." Tamaloymar, the pasuk says, "Chodesh." No, very quickly. My mashma. How do we see that it's going to happen soon? Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak. Chodesh means within 1 month. Chodesh nichnas, v'chodesh yotza. Month began, the month's over, boom. Umamayim aved, and there goes their wealth. V'amar Rabba Bar Rav Ada, V'amar, some say, Amar Rabbi Sala, Amar Rav Amnuna. Kol hanoisa isha, she'eino higenes lo. A person is not careful regarding whom he marries, to make sure that she's kosher and appropriate for his yichus. Eliyahu kaifsai. Eliyahu in the future will tie him down. HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself, Reitzei, will strap him. Matana, we learned in the Brisa, Al Kulam, regarding all the, Kehanim, Levim, Israelim who marry Mamzerim, etc. Eliyahu kaisev, HaKadosh Baruch Hu chaisim. Eliyahu writes down Hashem's signs. What does he write? Oiloi, woe to this fellow, lepoisel azaroi, ulepagimas mishpachtoi, ulenaisa isha, sheina against loi, Eliyahu kaifsei, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Reitzei. So basically, they're lamenting the fact that he married somebody inappropriate. By doing so, he stigmatized his family, he illegitimatized his children, and he gets the strapping. And the Brisa continues, you should know, if a person is habitually labeling other people as Pesulim, you're a mamzer, you're an Evet, just his mode of expression, it's not a good sign about his own yichus. Puzzle. Subconsciously, he just sort of relates that. That's his reference point, and it doesn't bode well for his own lineage. And a person who's really puzzled, you'll never find him speaking positively about people. Shmuel adds, the labels that he showers on other people is actually meant for him himself. So if he calls people avodim, it's a right that he's really an evet. Hahu Gavra, in fact, there was a story about this fellow, a very long story. He comes from where? Diminaharda. He came from Naharda, and he came for a visit to Pumbedisa. And he went straight to the butcher store, the Al Lebeit Matbachaya Pumbedisa. Amar Le'usuhi turns to the store owner, Havu Li Bistro, please give me some meat. Amar, they tell him, look, Natar, wait a while. Ad Shakil Shami, the Rabbi Yehuda Kessler. First, let the assistant of Rabbi Yehuda Kessler allow him to buy the meat, and then afterwards, V'nei Sevalach will give you your portion. So he goes first. Amar, so this fellow was a bit irritated. He says, Man Yehuda Bar, who's this Yehuda Bar Shviskal? Shviskal is a big eater. Who is he? The Kadamli, the Shoklam and Kamai, who's getting before me. He's taking the meat over here. Azlu Amrle Rav Yehuda. So the word got back to Rabbi Yehuda that this fellow spoke disrespectfully about him. Apparently, it was something which was important to relate back to the to the Rav. Shamte, and he put him in cherem. And the people continued to report back to Rabbi Yehuda. Amru, they told him, we're not done. Ragel dekari in shiavadi. This fellow has a loose mouth. He's accustomed to calling people avodim. Okay, achar zalei abdu. So Rabbi Yehuda declared this fellow as an avid. This fellow wasn't too happy, so he called Rabbi Yehuda to a din Torah in front of Rav Nachman, who was a Rosh Yeshiva in Naharda, this fellow's hometown. Azlahu Azmin Ladina called him to a din Torah lekamei the Rav Nachman. I see Piska, the Hazmana, so he brought along he got a Hazmana document, a summons. Azal Rav Yehuda lekamei the Rav Huna. So he brought to Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda went to Rav Huna and wanted to know whether he's obligated to answer the summons and travel over to Naharda. Amar Leis, he says like this: Ezel oily Ezel. He asked Rav Huna, should I go or not? Amar Leis, Rav Huna responds, Mezel. Really? You're not obligated to go travel to Naharda. You're a great man. You're a chasher person. Perhaps if he wants to have the din Torah locally, fine. But you're not mechuyev to travel there. But out of respect to the Rav Nachman, who was the son-in-law of the Nasi, Kumzil, go up and do the extra mile, travel to Naharda. Out of respect to Rav Nachman, who called you to the din Torah. Okay. Also, so he arrives at Rav Nachman's place. Ashkechei, he finds him, he sees him busy. The Ka'avid Ma'akeh, he was building a railing, a Ma'akeh, for his roof. Amarle, so Rav Yehuda turns to Rav Nachman. You're a great man. You're not meant to be, doing labor. Don't you know Shmuel says, once a person gets appointed as a leader, he shouldn't be doing this type of manual labor in front of 3 people, in public. Rashi says it's dishonorable to the community that their leader has to go and build, railings in public. Amar Lei, so he says, I'm not really making a major railing here. I'm not involved in building. Purta de gun de rissa hudikavid. I'm just making this shallow 10 tafach minimal railing to be mekayim the mitzvah of makis. That's okay. It's a mitzvah. And he called the railing a gun de rissa, which is an interesting, a very a fancy word. Amar Lei, so Rabbi Yehuda was a bit, he says, why using this highfalutin language? Misanya maka techsibar. I said, what's wrong with the word maka, which is in the Torah? A mechitza. Use simple language. Mechitza. The Rabbanan call it mechitza. Why don't you just use simple, everyday language? Okay, so he gave him a little, mussar. Amar Leis. So Rav Nachman sought to be mechabed, to honor his guest. The Yosef Mar Ar Karpita. Why don't you sit down on the little bench here? And he called it a karpita, which is an unusual word. Amar Leis, he responds to him, Misani Safsal Amar Rabbanan. What's wrong with Safsal? Which is the way the Rabbanan relate to a bench. Or it's taba. Or call it a taba, the Amri Inchi, which is another way, how people relate to a bench. What's this fancy word, Kartifa? Okay, fine. He moved on. Amar Lei Leichel Mar Esrunga. So Rav Nachman turns to his guest, why don't you have something to eat, to drink? Take a esrunga, which was his way of calling an esrog. So again, a fancy, Amar Lei, so he says to Machem Shmuel. Shmuel once said, Kol Omer, esrunga, a person uses this fancy word, esrunga, tilsa bra misrucha. It's an expression of haughtiness. Sheshlish ruchai gasahu, Rashi says. A third of his spirit is haughty. Basically, it's an expression of gava. You shouldn't be using such fancy words. Oy esrog kidder karyor rabbanon. Oy esrog, you should either use a plain simple word esrog, the way the rabbanon call it, or esrog, which is Aramaic, the way people call it. Amarle, okay, he moved on. Lishtimar an vago. Here, my guest, take a little drink. An baga, Rashi says, is a kais, which contains a revius, which was filled with this drink called asparagus, mentioned in the Gemara Brachas, made from vegetables, some sort of energy drink. Okay, so have a little drink. Amarleis, he says, why are you calling it such a misani asparagus, the kari rabbanon? Anything wrong with calling it asparagus, the way the rabbanon called it? Or anpak the amrinchi, or anpak the way people call it? Okay. Amarlei continued, Teise doinak, so the host, Rav Nachman, after seating his guest and serving him, he says, Amarlei Teisi Doinag Tashkina. Let my daughter Doinag, that was her name, serve us our drinks. Amarlei, so the guest responds, that's inappropriate. Not meant to be served by a woman. Well, he says, Rav Nachman says, Tani, she's just very young, not a big deal. Well, even that's a problem. Rav Yehuda responds, but you're not meant to be served by a woman, whether irrespective of her age. Okay, Rav Nachman continues. Rav Nachman's wife was Yalsa. Nishadali Mar Shlomo Yalsa. He turns to his guest. You want to send regards to my wife? Send a bracha to my wife? Amalei. So Rav Yehuda responds, no. Hachi Amar Shmuel Koil B'Isha Erva. I'm not meant to interact in a informal manner with an isha. The Koil B'Isha in this manner is inappropriate. Afshadei Shliach. So Rav Nachman says, okay, I'll get somebody to send regards on your behalf through a shliach. You don't have to confront her directly. Amalei, so Rav Yehuda responds once again. It's also a problem. You're not meant to go give shalom to an isha even through an intermediary, because once again it brings them emotionally close. So Rav Nachman responds, okay, let me be the shliach. Okay, that's better. Amalei, so Rav Yehuda responds, that's also no good. You're not meant to do that at all, even through her husband, because once again it'll bring them emotionally close to each other. So apparently his wife was listening in, Rav Nachman's wife. Shalchleit Visus, Rav Nachman had a wife Yalsa. She sent him a message, let him go quickly. He's gonna this is not working out well for you. Sharalei Tigre, release him from the din, meaning address his din Torah he came for something, address it and let him go. Very soon he's gonna turn you into Amaretz. It's not good for your reputation here to keep on, titting and tatting with him. Okay, so Rav Nachman listened to his wife and he asked his guest as to the reason for his coming. My shiyati, what's your business? The maracha, what are you doing here? Amarle taska, that's manusa shadamar basroi. Don't you know you sent a hazmana after me? Amarle, so apparently Rav Nachman was not familiar with the fact that the person that he was inviting to the Dinter was Rav Yehuda. Amarle, he says, me invite you to the Dinter before me, you're way more chashav than me. Hashta shusa. Shusha is the mode of speech, the expression. Hashta shusa, the marlik amirna. I'm not even familiar with your way of speech, meaning you outdid me in that whole back and forth. Taska das manusa mashardan. I don't have proper, grammar, etc. And I'm going to go send you a document to summon you to a Dinter. Taska das manusa mashardan lamai. What do you think? Really? I would call you to the Dinter in front of me. You're way more chashav than me. So Rabbi Yehuda pulled out the document. Apik, he pulled out Diska, the document, as manusa of this, the summons document. Mechadi from his chest, from his pocket. V'achsilei, he shows it to him. Amarlei. He says, look, Hagavra, but Diska, here's the man, here's the document. Amarlei. So Rav Nachman responds, okay, look, once you made it all the way here, may as well, present your case and let's deal with it. So people, in case I just send you away, people will say, well, the Rabbanon are covering up for each other. They're just flattering each other, and they're not, being straight about things. So once you're here, let's deal with what happened. Amarlei. So Rav Nachman asks Rav Yehuda, no, okay, my time was Shamti Marlo Gavra. So why is it so that you actually took such a drastic step against that person and put him in Cherem? Well, Rav Yehuda says you should know what he did. He annoyed the shliach of the Chacham. Okay, so why put him in Cherem? Give him Malchus, which is not as severe as the Rav Mangid al the man the mitzar shlichut Rabban. Rav would do that. He would give Malchus if a person annoyed and was mitzar shliach Rabban. So why did you put him in Cherem? The other I did something more, severe. I figured that was a fitting, response to what he did. Okay, fine. My time achriz mar alei da'avdahu. Next question: why did you declare him as an eved? He says very posh. The rugel the kar the inshi he calls other people avadim, and that's not a good sign about himself. At Tani we learned in the Brayso, so call out paisel. A person who's paisel other people, pasul. That's the biggest indication that he himself was pasul. He never speaks positively about people. Shmuel added, paisel. How he labels others is an indication of his own label. He calls others avadim, he himself is an eved. And that's why I declared him as an eved. Well, Rav Nachum responds, I understand tells us to be concerned about the possibility that he's an eved. Does he actually tell you to establish him as an eved? Is it an established fact? I mean, there's room to think that perhaps, it's an expression of his own deficiency, but it's not enough to actually confirm it. So why did you go to that extent and declare him as a bona fide eved? Well, listen to this. As this was happening, Asahu Bardinim Nadoi. So this opponent shows up from Nadoi while this was going on. Amar Lei, Ahu Bardinim Rav Yehuda, the other fellow turns to Rav Yehuda, the fellow who, his litigant, right? Lididi Karsli Abda? You call me an eved? I'm the farthest thing from an eved. The Asina mi beis Chashmonai Malki. You know where I come from? I have a great lineage from the Chashmonaim, the King Chashmonaim dynasty. How could you call me an eved? Amar Lei, listen to this. This was his undoing. So Rabbi Yehuda responds to him. If anything, that makes it worse for yourself. Amar Lei Hachem Shmuel. Shmuel told us, Kol da Amar Midbeis Chashmonai Kasina Avdu. Anybody that declares, that claims to come from Chashmonaim, he is a certified eved. You know why? Rashi brings because all of the Chashmonaim's descendants were killed out by Hordus, and he was an eved, and he grabbed the throne. And Rashi says it's assumed that the regular Bnei Yisrael did not interact with him or his family, so they married avadim. So all that hail from Hordus, who pretended to be sort of the the carryover of the Chashmonaim are really Avadim. So if you claim to be from Chashmonaim, you're really an Eved who comes from Hurdas, who was a slave by the Chashmonaim. Okay, so if anything, you've just incriminated yourself because of this quote that I quoted from Shmuel. Amar Leser of Nachman responds to Rabbi Yehuda. Lo Savar Lamar Laha. Now you're coming and telling us this fact that Shmuel says if you come from Chashmonaim, you're an Eved. But it's a little tricky, a little suspicious sounding that you're saying it now when it's pertinent to you, right? Rav tells us you can't rely on this type of testimony. Suppose the Tam Chacham comes along and offers a new halacha that we never heard before. Do we accept it or not? It depends. If there's any impression of impropriety, you don't accept it. If it appears perhaps like he's pushing his own agenda and supporting his case, you can't accept it as fact. If he said it before the fact, before it was pertinent to him and relevant to him and beneficial to him, then you accept it. But if he comes along and tells us something which is pertinent to his case, you can't accept it. So, yeah, I believe you, Shmuel said it, but we can't accept it as fact. Amar Leisi says, 1 second, it's not me. It's not just me. Rav Masna, in fact, will support me. He also said the same thing in the name of Shmuel. And in fact, listen to this, Hashkacha Pratis. Rav Masna leichazil in Arda Tleiser Shni. Where was this taking place? In Ardar. Rav Masna happens to be, hasn't stepped foot in Ardar for 13 years. And that day he showed up. And he was the right person at the right time. Amar Leiser of Yehuda turns to Rav Masna. I want to jog your memory. Do you remember my Amar Shmuel, what Shmuel said at a very specific time? Kikoi, he was standing Chadakara Aguda. 1 foot of his was on the riverbank, but Chadakara Amabra, one on the boat. So in that position, Shmuel told us something very interesting. Do you remember what it was? Amar Rav Masna responded perfectly. Hachi Amar Shmuel. This is what he told us. Called the Amar. Anybody who claims to come from the Chashmonai household, Avdahu, that's a declaration on his Avdus. You know why? He explains it. Because, truthfully, the only survivor from the Chashmonai was a young girl, Ella Hira Visa, and even she didn't survive. Ultimately, she died. The Salkal Igra, she went up to the rooftop, Virami Kola, she declared as follows. I want you to know. Hear one, hear all. Va'amar, she says, Kol Amar, Ibeis, Chashmonai, Anna, whoever down the road will claim to come from Chashmonai, you should know Avdo, he's an Eved. Because I'm the only sole survivor from the family, and I'm nobody else. Everybody else is from Hurdas, the Avadim. Naflim Igro Misa. In fact, she fell off the roof with Mason and she died. So this startling chain of events, the quote from Shmuel, Rav Masna's sudden arrival, and his corroboration of Rabbi Yehuda's halacha, sort of put the case to rest, and this opponent was now fully certified as an Eved. And what happened? Achor Zalei Da'avdahu. So Rav Nachman sort of followed Rabbi Yehuda's lead, and he declared this fellow as an Eved, even locally in Hardah, his hometown. Da'avdu. Yamis, what happened on that day? There were many families that had, sort of blended into this fellow's families. Akron, Kamaksufta ben Hardah, many Ksuba documents were torn up, many marriages were dissolved because of this information. Kikonafik, so when Rabbi Yehuda was leaving Hardah, the locals were very mad at him for generating this mayhem. Nafke Basrei Lemirgme, they were following him to stone him with stones. Amaluz, he turns around and he said, look, he threatened them. Ishtiku, if you remain silent and go back, Shtiku, fine, you're good, you're safe. Otherwise, you continue this behavior. Migalina Alaichu, I'm going to go a step further. I'm going to reveal some more information, classified information. Hadamar Shmuel told us, Tarti, Zariyas, Ikab and Hardah. There are two families in Hardah that I know about. Chadim Mikrai de Beyina. One was called the Beyina, dove. V'chadim Mikrai de Beyir Vasi, ravens. V'simanach, and the fact is, And the significance here is Tamei, the one that's called Erev, which is a tummy bird, is in fact the family which has Psulim, which is Tamei. The one that's called a Yaina, kosher bird, Tar, is Tar. So actually, some Mepharshim explained, Marshal explained that this information was added later on by the ones who compiled the Gemara, Ravina Ravashi, because he didn't actually reveal this. He just says, look, Rabbi Yisai, I'm going to tell you about information that I know, that I can reveal if you don't behave. So they all sort of took the threat seriously and they backed off. Shadjua lahurigma. They took whatever they were using to stone him, the rocks, they threw it, tossed it into the river, and there was so much volume, so many stones now discarded, Vikam Atma. But Nar Malka now experienced a dam, blockage because of these stones. So this threat really spared him. Continues the Gemara, Machras Rabbi Yehuda Pumbedisa. So Rabbi Yehuda announced as follows in the town of Pumbedisa. Ado, a name of one fellow, V'yoina son, another fellow, Avde. They're slaves. You should know they're not allowed to marry into the community. Yehuda Bar Papa, Mamzer, he's a Mamzer. But Bar Tuvya, he was an Eved who was never freed and still has an Eved status. V'ramas Rucha, due to his haughtiness, Lo Shakil Gita de Cherusa. He never bothered getting a get, Shichra, from his master. She's still an Eved. Keep away from these people. Okay, Machar is Rava b'Machayza. In the town of Machayza, Rava declared as follows: the following families are all pasul. Baloi, Danoi, Taloi, Maloi, Zagoy, Kulam, live soil, they're all pasul, they cannot marry Israel. Amar Yehuda, Goyvoy, those that are called Goyvoy, they're really Givoinoi, they come from Givoin, they're the Givoinim who may not intermarry. Those that are called, the family that's called Durnu Nisa, you know why? Duroi, they come from a town, Nisinoi, full of Nisinim, which is basically like another version for Givoinim, who are also to marry. Amar Rabbi Yosef, Hai Beikuve. This town called Beikuve, near Pumbedisa, Kulam da Avde. All its residents are Avodim. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Mashmal, Arameis Avodim. V'amar la Arba Salaf Mavodim. Either 400 slaves or 4,000 slaves. Hoyloi lefashcha benimar. Belonged to this fellow Fashcha, v'chulam nitmu bekuna. He was a kohen, and they all intermarried. They blended into the Kahuna families. And therefore, v'chol kohen sheyesh be'azas panim. If you encounter a kohen who has an element of brazenness, einay elamihem, you should know he's a descendant of these avodim. That's why he's endowed with this special virtue. Amar Abai Kulu, Yasvan, all these individuals that come from the avodim, they live b'shur de Bnardo in the wall of the city of Nardo. This assertion that the avodim, that the kohanim or azipanim hail from the avodim, is in dispute with Rabbi Lezer. If you ever encounter a kohen who has this strong personality, al tahar akrav, don't ask any questions. It's part of their personality. They're cut and dry, rigid. That's the way they are. But it isn't a sign of psul. Amar Rabbi Aban bar Ada Amar Rav Kol Isha she'ena again a slave. If a person is not careful, he marries an isha who's possible to him. Ultimately, when Hashem will bring back His Shechina and rest it on us, made al kol hashvatim, ve'imei dalav, he'll testify and declare all the shvatim as his, but not on this fellow. Shnamar shiftei ka eidos liYisrael, and the drasha is a masai. Havi eidos liYisrael. When does Hashem call out the Yisrael as his? Bezman shashvatim shiftei ka, when the shvatim have proper lineage and are kosher. Amar Rav Chamar b'Chanina, Kadosh Baruch Hu Masher Shnosai, when Hashem brings the Shechina, ein Masher el al Mishpachas Michas Sheb Yisrael, who only do so, who have the Shechina rest on the families that are Miyuchasim and certified. Shenemar Ba'isahi, no Hashem, Eyel Elikim, L'chol Mishpachas Yisrael. It doesn't say L'chol Yisrael. L'chol Yisrael le'nemar. El L'chol Mishpachas, those families that are kosher. Vehema, and only them, you, only they, you, Lilam. Amar Rabba Bar Avchuna, Zu Mali Yisera, Yesh Ben Yisrael L'gerim. In this passage we find an advantage that Yisrael have over the Gerim. Dilu bi Yisrael Ksibu, by Yisrael it says, Vayisalem L'elakim, Ve'ema Yulilam, that I will reach out to them and bring them back to me. So Hashem sort of makes the first move and brings us closer to Him. Vilu bi Gerim, because by Gerim goes the other way. They have to initiate. They have to do the hard work. Miu Zeh Arev Esliba L'gesh Seilayim Hashem, who's going to come close to me? So first they come close to me, they make the move, they make the effort, and then I respond in Kai v'anoichi eyelechem leilokim. Amar b'chalbei koshem gerim l'Yisrael kasapachas. The gerim phenomenon is difficult, makes it very complicated for Yisrael, like a sapachas, like a nega. Shenemar v'nil v'hager aleim v'nispuch al beis Yaakov. So we have the lashon nispuchu by the gerim, and Tosfos explains because very often they're not well versed in the halachas and the mitzvahs, and they can have bad influence on their community. So we have the lashon v'nispuchu ksivacha v'nispuchu ksivhasam, and by negoim we have l'seis sapachas. So we have that equation to teach us this lesson. Okay, so in summation, we learned about the various groups of individuals that followed Ezra to Eretz Yisrael. We have the sources for each. We learned the importance of marrying Isha Kshera, Isha Genes Loy, and the consequences of doing otherwise. We had this whole story about this fellow who was paisel other people, and that was indicative of his own psul. And we have various families and names of psulim, and the importance of keeping the mishpachos miyuchasos, to be zoichet hashros hashchina b'meher b'meinu amen. All the best to you, and Hatzlacha Rabbah.